Hello, greetings. You're on to Augustine, and today is a wonderful Friday, and I'm reaching out to you live from Nigeria, one of the many broadcasters within our Kringle society. And today, the title of my broadcast is "What Will You Be Remembered For in the Kringle Private Society?" Now, this particular broadcast will be reflected upon in the event of time because at this moment we are building a whole new world from the scratch up, and a whole new world that is going to be uh, as much as possible corruption free, as much as possible theft free, as much as possible racism free. We are going to, as much as possible, build a system that will promote love and respect on a global scale. Now, I'm going to actually share my screen and talk about a few things in the Kringle Cashback office. And then after that, I then talk about the main content of today's meeting, which is what will you be remembered for in the Kringle Private Society. Yesterday, we had our meeting, and I put a blog to that, a broadcast to that effect, where we decided that a few people will man that part of the food subsidy center. And in that food subsidy center that they have chosen to man, they have chosen to step up to that responsibility. And to whom much is given, much is expected. Humanity will embrace us, but charity should first of all begin at home. So we decided, it was a unanimous decision made by we Nigerians, and then we picked those who would want to man this responsibility in our Kringle private society. And manning this responsibility means that they should step up their game, and they have to keep it up until we have built into global adoption, you know. And I want to use this opportunity to welcome my brother Stephen Coffey. Thank you for being on the broadcast. I do appreciate. And now going forward, these people who have come in to man this position of the food subsidy center, they are going to continue that path, for a very long time. You know what our goal is? Our goal is to achieve global adoption on a global scale. And we already know that this food subsidy will be a major stepping stone to help us in achieving this objective. So we are going to have several other systems that will come in, several other ministries that will come in to handle other parts of these the activities that will be provided by the TBC community as we grow. So let me quickly share my screen, and then after sharing my screen, we discuss briefly. I talk about a few things, and then I think that'll be all. So sharing my screen. I think screen now being shared. All right. Now the first thing I want us to look into is our numbers. Our numbers are gaining momentum, and our entire goal is 1 billion. Now, very clearly, let's understand that we will get to 1 billion, and that 1 billion will be made up of about 1 billion millionaires and 1 million billionaires. When we say these things, it still sounds like it's a joke, but by the day, the system is forming and people are observing the system form. Some are active, some are passive. But the truth is, the principle of meritocracy will definitely play out. And that simply means for every effort you make, you are given a commensurate reward. And that's the principle upon which we stand. So it wouldn't be by accident that you get anything in the TBC community. Well, during the early days, yes, but as at now, it's no more going to be by accident. And even though you got it by accident in previous times, I'm talking of for the old or early members, early birds, you would need to keep giving account of it, like for the rest of your life. Our system is like a union between man and wife, and it is not advisable for a man and a woman to unite and then break up. That's contrary to the principle of our Creator. So each of you that listens to my broadcast on a daily basis, let this be the uh, underlying mindsets you should have, so that you don't go ahead and then make mistakes, thinking that you come in and you go out, and then you are living a kind of loose lifestyle, a speculative lifestyle. That's not our principle. We are people who are principle oriented, and we understand our goal. So we commit to the assignment that we've been given. It's not that you should not associate with other coins. You should also interact based on your own capacity. Now, when anything you are involved in is now beginning to infringe with your attention within our Kringle society, I would advise that you cut it off. If anything will try to hold you back from achieving your goal and then depriving you of enjoying the treasury when the time comes, being in the mass adoption team, I would strongly recommend that you keep it away, you put it aside and build, because this is a worthy cause. It's a worthy cause indeed. Now, looking at this also, you see that our accounts, that is the admin wallet, is slowly depleting and is depleting. It's the momentum is building. It's building very fast. Between now and the next 2 3 hours, these numbers will deplete to about 714. Now, I said this and I'll keep saying it until it happens. Before the year runs out, this wallet will get to 500 million. And when that happens, an accountability will set in. There will be what you call an overview, there will be what you call an evaluation process, both for the new and for the old. And that evaluation process will now kick off this particular terms and condition that has already been put down by the administration, which is this one. Now, if you are in the billionaire level, what was the condition that was given? I'm going to read it out again so that you would hear. These things will start playing out when we get to those numbers. So I want you to take it seriously, because it will affect people negatively and it will also affect people positively. So please beware. Okay? Now, let me continue. I'm going to read out these terms and conditions very quickly. We already know about it, but then I'm reading it out for emphasis sake. Please hear what I said. For what? Emphasis sake. Now, on the billionaire level, this is the I'm not reading everything. I'm just going to read this. Now, it costs 8 grains, 8 grains on a monthly basis. Well, it could be monthly or yearly. You will decide. Now, monthly could be 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year. It would also be on a monthly basis. But I strongly recommend that you don't go monthly, because it will be heavy on you on a monthly basis. So you should space it out. If you can't afford 1 year, then let it be 6 months. If you can't afford 6 months, then let it be 3 months. But make sure you do it in such a way that it allows you opportunity to build in the system. Cost 8 grains monthly, and late payments are acceptable up to 90 days before your coins are returned to the administration's wallet. Now, let me cite an instance with our country where I reside, Nigeria. Now, you find out that there is a gross level of irresponsibility on the side of our government. Now, they tax their citizens and they embezzle the money to do whatsoever they like, and there is no form of accountability. Now, this is the reason why this particular statement or this particular term was set up by the administration, because he wouldn't want any form of prodigal attitude, prodigal lifestyle, frivolous spending, because you think you are entitled. No. The thing that we are doing is to change the paradigm, change the narrative, change the mindset, change the whole world for good. And that means we are going to curb every form of injustice. We are going to curb every form of indiscipline, any form of embezzling, any form of right, entitlement. Those things will not apply. Now, coming to think of it from the scriptural point of view, you were born into this world naked. Everything you have, whether you are beautiful, whether you are handsome, whatsoever you are, whether you are tall, whether you are intelligent, You actually didn't merit it. You just found out that you had it. That was God who gave it to you. And He's going to give, you are going to give account to Him on that day how you used it. Did you use it to benefit good or did you use it to benefit evil? That's a question. You see, it's on that principle that we have also picked up this, telling you that those coins you have were given to you based on some activities that you performed, which was enabled, you were enabled to perform those activities because God helped you. And having that knowledge, you engaged in those activities and you were rewarded. So when that time comes, TBC becomes globally adopted as an alternative medium of exchange. Don't wake up and say, I worked and got all this wealth by my own power. It did not apply to your power. Don't be given to pride. Beware, because there is what you call an attitude that can play out when God blesses you. Take note of that. So, remember my title. What will you be remembered for in the Kringle Society? I am still on that line. So, those of you who are listening to me, I have said it, let me repeat. When we get to 500 million coins, then that level of accountability starts playing out. So, do not think that you have it and it's going to be yours like forever. A time will come, you may lose those coins if you fail to hold up to the title of being a billionaire within our Kringle private society. So please let this be the underlying mindset that you and I should always work with. Now, that said, I don't need to repeat the same protocol again on millionaire because the same thing that applies to the billionaire also applies to the millionaire. While the other 1 million, the rest of humanity who will enjoy this distribution process will get it at no cost because it's a free gift. Looking at the starter program, it says it costs 2 grains monthly, but they can't collect any of the Kringle rewards. It means that the Kringles in the admin wallets are of high value, or let's say they are completely invaluable. So we can't give it to people who will be very, very funny in their attitudes. We're not going to give it to people who are not responsible enough. And if we give it to some people who are not able to prove their worth, we'll collect it back because we don't want to give it room for people to abuse it. They do say when the purpose of a thing is not well known, well, abuse is inevitable. And that's the whole truth. So we don't want such kind of thing in our Kringle society. We are a highly disciplined set of people. We are not like Bitcoin. A number of people are using Bitcoin to fund some fraudulent activities, some crazy terrorist organizations. But we are not going to do that. We will take charge of that we will take charge of the narrative over time. It wouldn't happen overnight. If you are thinking that TBC is something that will happen in a day, no, we've already stayed 5 years. And each day that passes by, the world is seeing us and they are seeing that we are not a Ponzi scheme. We are not a speculative kind of system. And we are not Bitcoin either. We are not also the fiat system. We are in a class of our own. That's where we are. And that class is a very wonderful one where rewards will be given to you based on your merits. Now, I have said something about that. Those of us who do read this content, continue studying it and study it very well. I can't continue to emphasize on all this. Those of us who want to do well to look through it. Our numbers has been updated. We are now in 145 and we are building into 1,000. A lot will happen before the end of this month. You will see that towards the end, a whole number of people will begin to pay the subscription fee. We human beings are wonderful. We like last minute. In my opinion, I don't recommend any attitude of last minute because you may fall off if you're waiting for last minute. Please kindly take note of this. Now I've said that, let's quickly go into our core team. Look into our core team. And then after that, Chim, we are through. We move into the next content, talk about it briefly, and then following that, that'll be all. So hold on, let it finish loading. As soon as it finishes, then I go into the all right, it has just finished loading. Now let's look into this content. This is beautiful, right? As at yesterday, this was about 5,300 and something. At this point, it's about 5,200 85. That's like a heartbeat. It goes up, then it comes down. Now, the question they ask is, why is it going back and forth? Why is it going back and forth? I've said this in previous broadcasts, but let me repeat it again. It's because of this late eligibility until 10th, 14th, 2021. Now, this is because you have a limit of 3 months before you are removed from the core team. Anyone who pays with bulk credits or grains of gold stands every chance of missing out if the person continues. Another thing is, it is consistency that is required. Even though you paid in bulk credits this month, you should pay the following month with cryptocurrency if you are going to stay in the core team. Failure to do so means you are not qualified. TBC is a disciplined system. It's private. It has nothing to do with the government. So we are self-regulated. You will continue to see these numbers go up and down, provided people are still paying with grains of gold. Until these people stand up and uphold their title as billionaires, and also reputable billionaires that are qualified, worthy to hold on to the core team and hold on to the revenue generated from the admin wallet, which is the other 50% currently now being managed by the administration. Soon, the treasury will be handed over to the mass adoption team. So it will continue to build until we get 11,111, which will happen before the end of this month or next month, hopefully before the end of the year, so that I can be within range, because the administration will do everything possible to make sure that these numbers are filled out before we move into the year 2021. That said, please take note of all the informations I'm giving. They matter a whole lot. I must really say that this is wonderful. The core team is coming from different countries, from across the world, from Africa, from North America, from India, from different countries, and it makes the whole thing beautiful. So that wealth wouldn't be domiciled in a particular region, it is spread across. If you can uphold your title as being a billionaire in the core team, well, good for you. And there are different ways to achieve it. You can go out, share out your free gifts, and then people will pick which category they want to belong to. You can also be a merchant and also accept it as a partial payment. Different things are playing out, and you can decide how to take part in it. Now, the last question, which is where we're moving into. What will you be remembered for in the Kringle Society? Now, we are building our membership into 1 billion, and I said this yesterday, but then I want to say it again today. Now, there was a particular place that I went into yesterday. Okay, I use this committee to search it out. Okay, and yes, it was this particular one. Now, I've already said this, but this is I'm trying to draft out something. And what's that I'm trying to draft out? This is what I'm trying to draft out. Now, as we build this membership into 1 billion, first of all, let me quickly go into where I picked out some departments that we are going to take part in the TBC community as we build this membership into 1 billion. At this point, we are in the food subsidy. Now, if you have not yet registered for for the food subsidy app, do well to do so. Help us, irrespective of your country. I know that people who watch my videos come from across the world. Please do well to download that app and then become a member. Whether you are active or inactive, add to the numbers. When the time comes, I believe that you can make that payment and then begin to enjoy that food subsidy. But if you can do the part of paying and then enjoying that monthly benefits of Kringles or TBC, depending on which department or which subscription you went in for, billionaire or millionaire, now you enjoy enough returns from the system at this early stage. Soon, it becomes 1,000 times more difficult. So let me just read. Ministries that the Kringle Private Society will create over time. We are in the food subsidy now. When the food subsidy comes in, We set up 1,000 of them. And as we are setting up these subsidy centers, we are also going to take part in other ministries. And then those ministries are going to be formed based on how the need comes. If there is a need for it, good, we set up those food subsidies. Now, that said, I quickly read this content. This is a Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources. We will also form this, and this one is also going to play out in our system. It will also align with our food subsidy centers that will be setting up. Resources, agriculture, and natural resources. Now, you will get to hear about it shortly. We'll have Ministry of Aviation. We are also going to have our own ministry. Ministry of Aviation, meaning that we'll have our own flight ministry on a private note. And guess what? Millions of people will patronize our system because they want a beautiful. Remember that when we're paying our workers, we'll pay them 5 times more than the normal system does. So most people want to align with our system and enjoy all the privileges that we are offering. We would have Ministry of Commerce and Tourism. I'm out of time. I don't want to finish up. I don't want to take time to explain, but these are a few of the ministries. There will be more that will be added. Remember that I said, as the need arises. Ministry of Information and Communications, Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Education, Youth Development, Ministry of Environment. Possibly in my next video or on Monday, as the case may be, I would expatiate on all this. Ministry for Federal Capital. Now, this one may not apply. Ministry of Finance and Economic Development. Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Health and Social Services, Ministry of Industries, Ministry of Culture, Tourism, National Orientation, Ministry of Internal Affairs, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Labor and Productivity, Ministry of Petroleum Resources, Ministry of Power and Steel, Ministry of Science and Technology, Ministry of Solid Minerals and Development, Ministry of Special Duties. Now, I wouldn't explain all of them, but those of us who have taken part in one or two things with these departments in the fiat-based system, you will understand more what it entails. Ministry of Transport, Ministry of Water Resources and Rural Development, Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development. I think this will apply more to Africa. I don't know, but then let that time comes, it will speak out. Ministry of Works and Housing, Ministry of Youths and Sports. Come up. Now, this is naysayers, meaning you could play out as a naysayer if you want, but whichever one you choose, time shall tell. At this point, I want to stop. I've said a whole lot. There were interruptions along the line. Pardon me. I'm at my place of work, and my colleagues came into my office and they are also attending to their individual activities. So sorry for the noise. Please, my apologies. So on that said, I will stop here. And I want to appreciate those who are watching at the moment. Thank you so much. Stephen Coffee, awesome broadcast. God bless you. And my brother from another mother, greetings, brother. Nice broadcast. You are doing well. Thank you very much. I really appreciate. And then more grace. I do appreciate. So I will come your way again, God willing, some other time. I don't know, maybe tomorrow. But thank you very much for those of us who has listened, who will listen also. And do well to give a thumbs up. Thumbs up really matter. That's social proof. I do appreciate that. So till I come your way again, cheers and God bless you.